You ever wake up to a morning so wrong, so sideways, you just know something's up before you even set foot out of the car? Yeah, that's the kind of day I'm about to tell you about. I'm Sheriff Thaddeus Holloway, 20 years in uniform, and trust me, when your gut starts hollering louder than the dispatcher, you listen. That morning, I rolled into my own driveway at 6 sharp, rain still sticking to my boots and a headache pounding from a double shift and too much gas station coffee. I should have been thinking about a hot shower. What I got instead was a mess that would end up blowing a hole straight through the heart of my neighborhood. The sunrise was barely breaking, cutting through half-open blinds, making dust float in the air like little pieces of evidence. That's when I noticed it, tiny metal curls on the steps, fresh as a Christmas ribbon glinting in the light. I knew the mark of a reciprocating saw at 45 degrees before I ever saw my Schlaga deadbolt hanging off its last breath. Strike plate, all chewed up pro job, like whoever did it knew exactly which tools to use and how fast they needed to get in and out. Inside, my grandma's old jewelry box gone off the mantel. 2 potted orchids missing from the window, but my laptop and TV left untouched, like the thief didn't need quick cash. The weirdest part, little heel prints across the carpet, 8 millimeters deep, slow and deliberate, like someone wasn't in a hurry, just working the scene. Desk drawers still tidy, electronics cabinet untouched. Whoever it was, they knew what they wanted. They knew me. I called in code 21, kept my voice flat for the dispatcher, even when I heard the surprise in hers. You get used to cataloging other folks' losses, but there's nothing quite like tagging evidence bags in your own living room. Right there on my coffee table, like a slap in the face, was a crisp HOA violation notice. Willowbrook Commons Homeowners Association, printed in a font so fancy it probably cost more than my granddad's first Chevy. The list was a bureaucratic hit job: lawn height, unauthorized plants, exterior paint color, even how long my patrol car was parked in my own driveway. Fines stacked up to $1,500 a pop, 7 days to comply, or they'd pursue legal action, including potential forced sale. Whoever signed it scrawled a signature so jagged it looked like a polygraph chart, but HOA president was crystal clear. Now here's where it gets good. 3 years. I'd lived in that house. Lawn, always cut paint, always fresh patrol car in the same spot, never so much as a peep from anyone. The notice was dated yesterday, and I knew what that meant. Someone was building a paper trail, someone wanted leverage, and I was going to find out who. That's when Mrs. Hartwell, my neighbor from across the street, came outside clutching a coffee mug with shaky hands. Retired court reporter, sharp as a tack, remembers every word you ever said in your life. "Oh, honey, I saw a woman at your place around 3 in the morning. She told me, glancing up and down the street like we were in some kind of spy movie. Blonde lady, navy blazer, professional looking, stood by your patrol car for 5 minutes like she was trying to figure you out. Then she took out some tools and started working your door. Was inside about 20 minutes left with a little wooden box and your orchids. She gave me every detail down to the color of the leather bag. That's when it clicked. This wasn't a break-in for cash. This was intimidation. And the notice was just the cherry on top. Whoever did this thought they could threaten me with fake authority and get away with it. They thought I'd roll over same as everyone else. They'd steamrolled with community standards. I snapped photos, measured footprints, logged every scratch and trace. Old habits die hard. And this time every bit of my training was going to be used to burn them down. Not 2 hours later, I'm still dusting for prints when I hear the stiletto tap of heels in my driveway. Out steps Cordelia Pembroke, president of the Willowbrook Commons HOA, looking like she stepped out of a corporate hostage video. Blonde hair, tight navy blazer folders stacked under her arm. She's got that smile polite enough for a courtroom, cold enough to chill your bones. Doesn't call me sheriff, just Mr. Holloway, like she's the one running things. Her folder is color-coded papers, laminated tabs sticking out with notes in that same scratchy handwriting. I catch a glimpse: parking audits, landscape logs, bylaw amendments. She's not new at this game. But you know what she doesn't mention? The damage to my door Or the fact that she was in my house hours ago. Nope, she just launches right in. I trust you received our notice regarding compliance issues. She's got the practiced authority of someone who's never had to answer to anybody. Then I see it behind her in her BMW, my stolen orchids sitting in the back seat, dirt still fresh on the leather. I let her dig her own grave. Compliance issues, Mrs. Pembroke, is that what you call breaking and entering? She tries to play it off, but I can see the flush in her cheeks. I don't know what you mean, she says, but her hand strays to that leather bag and her eyes dart to the street, clocking witnesses. She rattles off violations: lawn height, unapproved plants, extended presence of a county vehicle, meaning my patrol car. I ask her right there what gives her the right to decide if a sheriff can park his patrol car at home. She gives me some spiel about broad authority to maintain standards, laying on the legalese thick. That's when I spot the broken orchid pot in her back seat, dirt everywhere, evidence plain as day. You want to know the twist? This wasn't about property values or grass height. This was about who lived in those houses. I dug into HOA records, started cross-referencing violations and property sales. Turns out every family who'd been forced to sell their home was a minority or an outsider, Black, Hispanic, Asian, or just not fitting the character of the neighborhood. Shell companies bought up their houses, and those companies traced right back to C. Pembroke Holdings LLC Incorporated right after Cordelia became HOA president. I called my buddy Barnaby, a defense attorney who owed me a big one. He took one listen and you could hear the gears turning. Thaddeus, this is a federal civil rights case with a fraud kicker. Start documenting everything. This isn't just you, they're running a playbook. Sure enough, every time I pulled another thread, financials, emails, old meeting minutes, it led back to the same group. Fake violations, threats, forced sales, shell companies flipping homes for a profit. And not just here, there were connections to other neighborhoods, other HOA presidents, all running the same scam. I looped in the FBI Civil Rights Division agent Martinez, tough as nails. She took one look at the evidence and said, "Sheriff, we're opening a Title VIII investigation. Send everything you have." By the next morning, we had affidavits from 17 families. The pattern was clear as day: harassment, discrimination, financial fraud, all hiding behind HOA rules. So I waited. HOA meeting, night community center packed. Cordelia up front, dressed for battle, running a slideshow about maintaining standards. Her evidence photoshopped pictures of my house with arrows and captions: excessive grass, non-compliant, landscape, unauthorized vehicle. She's so busy working the crowd, she doesn't even see me until I stand up in the back. The room goes dead silent. I walk down the aisle, badge, shining phone in hand. Let's talk about evidence, Mrs. Pembroke. Plug in my phone, play the security footage on the projector, her breaking into my house at 2:57 a.m., crowbar in hand. The crowd gasps. Cordelia tries to claim it's taken out of context, but Agent Martinez stands up and flashes her FBI badge. Ladies and gentlemen, this is now a federal investigation. Mrs. Pembroke, you're under arrest for breaking and entering, theft, civil rights violations, and conspiracy to commit fraud. You ever see someone realize they're out of moves? Her face cycled from shock to rage to panic right there in front of everyone. She was cuffed and led out, still screaming about community standards and outsiders ruining the neighborhood. I've never seen a room change so fast. Neighbors who'd been afraid to speak suddenly sharing stories, asking questions, figuring out how to fix what Cordelia had broken. By the next morning, the whole country had seen the arrest. Mrs. Hartwell, tech genius in disguise, live streamed the meeting for her granddaughter. News vans lined my street. Calls poured in from other states, people with the same stories, same HOA harassment, same pattern. The DOJ jumped on board. The FBI started connecting dots: multi-state conspiracy, RICO charges, civil rights violations. Turns out Cordelia wasn't just a neighborhood tyrant. She was the tip of a nationwide network of HOA racketeers. It took 3 weeks for the case to go to trial. In court, Cordelia sat between two lawyers, looking like she'd never broken a rule in her life. The prosecution lined up charts, data, emails. Expert witnesses showed exactly how she'd targeted minorities, Forced sales laundered money through shell companies. Her own sister, Patricia, testified about the secret meetings, the demographic transition strategies, even sharing emails that spelled out the goal: get rid of undesirable families and cash in. Jury came back guilty on every count: civil rights conspiracy, money laundering, fraud, racketeering. Cordelia got 11 years in federal prison. The community didn't just move on, they rebuilt. New bylaws, new board public minutes, rules that protected everyone. Mrs. Baker, once cited for inappropriate gardening, was elected to the board in a landslide. Kids played outside again. Families who'd left started moving back, and my patrol car was suddenly a symbol of safety, not something to be ticketed. Maybe the wildest part: the reforms we put in place: majority votes for all violations, public documentation, mandatory federal oversight for any pattern of discrimination got picked up by other states. The Willowbrook Civil Rights Fund started helping families all over the country fight back against corrupt HOAs. The garden that replaced Cordelia's old house became a spot where everyone grew something from their own roots: tomatoes, mint chilies, bok choy. Laughter replaced threats. Trust replaced fear. And you know what? That's what justice actually looks like. Not just a prison sentence, but a neighborhood where everybody's got a seat at the table. So let me ask you, because I know some folks are still watching this and thinking, would I have spoken up? Would I have pushed back? Have you ever seen power abused right in front of you and wondered if one person could make a difference? Maybe you're living in a place like Willowbrook right now. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us if you've ever dealt with a nightmare HOA or watched justice finally come through for your community. Because at the end of the day, it's not the bylaws that matter, it's how we look out for each other when nobody else will. And sometimes it just takes one stubborn neighbor, one old badge, and a whole lot of receipts to set things right.